You ever hear Warren Buffett's advice? A piece of advice worth $1 million. What would you do? Write it down? A tattoo on your arm? Frame it in gold? Well, here it is. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We've all heard of Warren Buffett, right? He's one of the richest men alive. If you ask me, he's almost like a superhero. Except instead of fighting crime, he fights bad investments. In fact, according to Forbes, his net worth is around $100 billion. Yeah, that's billion with a B. But did you know that a few years ago, Warren Buffett gave a piece of advice to young investors? An advice he said was worth $1 million? That's what we're talking about today. Now, before we dive into the juicy stuff, let's get serious for a minute. Here's the harsh reality. Most people don't invest. They either think it's too complicated or they think they're not important enough to learn about money. But guess what? Investing is simpler than ordering a coffee at Starbucks, and it's essential for everyone, especially the younger folks. Why? Well, when you invest, your money starts working for you. It helps you buy things you need or want, like a fancy car or maybe a house near the beach. Plus, it gives you a safety net for unexpected expenses, like if your fridge decides to break down in the middle of the night. Okay, now let's get back to our story. Imagine you're 20 years old, and Warren Buffett, the legendary investor, leans in and says, "Kid, I'll give you a piece of advice worth $1 million. You'd probably listen, right? You might even take notes. So let's break down what this advice means. Basically, Warren Buffett is saying, don't try to be a hero and pick the best stocks. Instead, spread your bets with an index fund and just chill out. But don't just take my word for it. Let's see how it actually works in real life." Back in 2007, Warren Buffett made a big bet with some fancy pants hedge fund guys. He bet that a simple index fund would do better than their super complex strategies. Here's the deal. He said his investment would beat theirs over 10 years. And if they lost, they had to give $1 million to charity. Guess what? Buffett won by a landslide. His boring index fund went up by 125%, while those clever hedge funds only made around 36%. Those hedge fund guys had to pay up, and it wasn't because they weren't smart. It's because the market sometimes does weird, unpredictable things. Even the best investors can't predict those moves. So here's the secret sauce. Don't chase quick wins or try to be the next stock market genius. Instead, spread your investments across lots of companies and chill out. Okay? Let's say you start investing $500 each month when you're 20 years old. By the time you're 60, you'll have over $2 million. How crazy is that? And the best part? You didn't have to pick any stocks. You just put your money into an index fund and let time do its magic. Imagine your money growing like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it rolls, it gathers more snow, getting bigger and bigger. That's what Warren Buffett meant by letting compounding interest work its magic. Here's another reason why this advice is pure gold. You avoid those emotional roller coasters. When you invest, there will be ups and downs, times when the value of your investments go up and times when it goes down. But if you stick with a good long-term plan, you can ride out those waves. It's like when you're learning to ride a bike. At first, you might wobble and feel like you're going to fall, but if you keep practicing, you'll become a pro. Same goes for investing. In a nutshell, Buffett's advice is a game changer. Stop chasing the latest stock market craze. Invest in a mix of companies and chill out. You'll be glad you did. So true. But remember, even superheroes have sidekicks. This video is my sidekick. Watch it to level up your knowledge. See you next time.